your kind of company.
Tonight on CTV3 News, oil tanker explodes in the community of a Shipyard. $200,000 worth in lumber goes up in flames. $10,000 customers affected by BEL's data leak to the dark web. And the Fiesta Rama proceeds to assist needy students with school supplies. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Tuesday, July 19th, 2023.
Me encuentro recluida porque fui acusada de inhumación, exhumación de cadáveres, profanación de cadáveres y homicidio de 13 personas.
Ellos decían que era santería, nosotros decíamos que era satanería.
Yo nunca me imaginé que a mí me iban a aventar todo lo de Adolfo.
Quien jefaturaba y quien ordenaba y quien tenía el poder y el peso de decisión pues era Sara.
Good evening. With your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. The Belize Police Department and the Fire Department are closely investigating the details of a crude oil tank explosion yesterday at Camp 8 in the community of Shipyard. While no one was seriously injured, the losses add up to more than $200,000 as tons of crude oil and the piles of wood and sawdust went up in flames. Elmer Cornejo visited the scene today and spoke to the owner of the property where the explosion took place and filed the following report.
This was the scene last night in the community of Shipyard in Orange Walk after an oil tanker exploded inside this property located at Camp 8. A fire erupted as a result of the explosion, causing a towering plume of smoke to immediately decorate the night sky and sending residents who live close by into panic mode. With the explosion, the contents of the tank, in this case pure crude oil, emptied itself into the property of 66-year-old Benjamin Crunt, the owner of Benjamin Crunt and Sons Lumber Yard, and immediately setting on fire everything in its path, including dry wood, sawdust, and even heavy machinery. At this point in time, to avoid a major catastrophe, one of Crunt's sons raced to the excavator that was about to meet face-to-face with the racing crude oil. Quickly, he managed to drive the machine to safety, leaving behind a massive inferno. But what caused the explosion of the tank in the first place? While firefighters are yet to disclose the cause, Crunt suspects that the operator of the tanker committed a huge error when he left his work unattended, as the crude oil was being transferred from the truck tanker to those belonging to the business.
Mi negocio no tiene otro nombre. Yo vendo madera. Yo tengo aceleradero. Yo compro troza. Yo vendo madera y nosotros ocupamos ese crude oil para trabajar. Debía de descargar primero en otro lado. Vino el camión lleno acá y la bomba tenía un problema, estaba escapando crudo y se pringó al motorcito de gasolina y ahí prendió. Mis nietos y mis trabajadores que trabajan aquí cerca, ellos lo vieron y corrieron a decirle al chofer, porque el chofer estaba en la cabina, no estaba acá. Y cuando el chofer salió, ya era tarde, él cerró la bomba y quitó esa manguera que está ahí y pringó más arriba el motor y ahí ya no podían controlar el juego y el chofer se quemó su pie abajo.
¿Había alguien más con él para acompañarle para hacer el trabajo o solamente el chofer?
Solo él solito.
And as workers and neighbors manned the raging flames in this area, on the other side of the property, barrels containing burnt oil began to explode, causing minor damage to a second building. However, the same cannot be said for a stockpile of wood that ended up being consumed by the flames, marking huge loss for Crunt.
Él salió y aquí en un ratito llegaron mucha gente a ayudarnos y luchamos de arrancar el camión de ahí para que el camión no se queme. Y hasta el fin, que alguien llegó, que quitó el lac, sacaron el camión y lo sacaron en la calle. Y el balance aquí se quemó. Son 9,000 galones de crudo que se quemó y mi tanque tiene 3,000 adentro, que le echaron el líquido porque estaba quemando arriba. Y vino un amigo con ese tanque que está ahí. Sí. Y eso me metieron ahí adentro y ahí se pagó el juego para que mi tanque no se reventó. Pero ese crudo ya no sirve porque ya tiene ese químico adentro y me dicen los mecánicos que no lo podemos usar porque ese me va a trancar las bombas.
Estaba también explicando sobre la pérdida de las maderas que estaba atrás de nosotros.
Sí, se quemó mi cepillo con bastante madera que vi ahí y hay esos pacas que ven acá. Es un valor de $150,000 que se quemó ahí.
¿Y eso fue sucedido porque estalló este container?
Se estalló y el crudo corrió acá así y dio vuelta y llegó hasta ahí donde está el cepillo y no podemos controlar el juego y por eso se quemó todo eso ahí.
El building atrás de nosotros también sostuvo daños del fuego.
Sí, pero eso no es tanto por la gente que me vinieron a ayudar, lo podíamos controlar.
Adding to the distress of the evening, Grant says that when the firefighters arrived, assistance could not be rendered, so he and his sons were forced to take further action.
Y sí llegaron, pero agarró como hora y media y cuando llegaron no hay nadie que sabe operar la máquina y no me podían ayudar para nada. Sí querían, pero no podían.
Y consiguió un amigo que tiene un camión con usted que estaba componiendo que es de agua también.
Correcto, y ellos me trajeron agua y ese está parqueado ya hasta ahorita, esperando si falta para que esté listo. Y ese trabajó y con eso podemos controlarlo para que no se queme todo lo que yo tengo.
Estaba también contando que la policía le estaba informando a usted de que aquí usted no va a poder recibir nada a cambio porque la equivocación o el error fue de parte de cuando lo estaban transfiriendo aquí en la bomba.
Así es. Porque entonces yo le dije a la policía, entonces yo no voy a conseguir nada. No, dice que es un excedente nomás. Y yo lo agarré y le digo, no. El seguro tiene que responder aquí, si no, yo no estoy conforme. No.
Pero sí está asegurado su negocio.
Sí, aquí en Shipyard, no en el pueblo. Aquí en Shipyard está asegurado, pero ellos ya vinieron esta mañana a chequearme. Y cuando yo les mostré de dónde vino el fuego, ellos no están de acuerdo porque no viene de culpa mío.
¿Quién está de acuerdo?
El seguro de nosotros. Porque ese no es juego mío, es por la máquina que ellos trajeron que no debían de tener. Es prohibido tener una motor gasolina así para descargar material así peligroso.
¿Y tiene un reporte o información de parte del Fire Department que ya le vinieron a decir
Sí,
que
sí. No, yo no lo tengo. En eso voy ahorita, vamos a ir a conseguirlo, ellos lo van a dar. Okay. Con eso la policía quiere que vayamos a la estación, entonces ahí se va a hacer todo el papeleo y Cardona nos va a traer a ver si nos puede ayudar.
When we arrived today at the scene, fire personnel were still on the ground gathering information that could define the cause of the explosion. As for the Crunt family, their loss stands at a whopping $200,000, a loss which Crunt is unsure will be covered by insurance. Elmer Cornejo, CTV3 News.
The driver of the tanker has been identified as Amir Leva. He sustained minor burns to his right foot and left arm. He was treated at the Northern Medical Specialty Plaza and released. As firefighters try to decipher what caused last night's explosion in the community of Shipyard, police say they received a call that a fire had erupted at Camp 8 in Shipyard, Orange Walk, and when they arrived at the scene at around 7:20 p.m., they observed a fuel trailer tanker completely engulfed in flames. Benjamin Crunt, the owner of the property where the two-head with the fuel tanker was located, told cops that the tanker, which was transporting 900 gallons of crude oil and driven at the time by Amir Leva, arrived at his business place to unload the product. During the process of unloading, it seems the leva experienced some trouble with the feeder hose, which began releasing some of the crude oil. The crude oil spilled into the small pump, and that is when the fire started, and soon after a loud explosion was heard, sending everyone into panic as the tanker was engulfed in flames. With the assistance of neighbors, the towhead was unclipped from the tanker and driven to a safe area. While the towhead protected from the flames, the same cannot be said for some of Cran's property, including wood and sawdust, which went up in smoke. Total damage up to now is set at $200,000. A Florida man who entered Belize legally via an area near Santa Elena village has been remanded to the Belize Central Prison pending his deportation back to the United States. Charles Frederick Miller, 37, appeared unrepresented before Magistrate Manon Denison in Court Number 8 on Tuesday, where he was read a single charge of failure to present himself to an immigration officer upon arrival in Belize. Miller pleaded guilty and was issued a fine of $1,000 plus $5 cost of court, in default 3 months in prison, but could not pay forthwith and was remanded to jail. According to the Belize Immigration Department, on July 14th, police officers from the Belama Police Station contacted the Belize Immigration Investigation Unit to notify the authorities of an American national who had been detained. The Immigration Department was asked to assist in verifying Miller's identity and legal status. The investigation later revealed that Miller entered Belize illegally on Thursday, July 13th via an area in Santa Helena. Miller claimed that he came to Belize on vacation. However, he had no financial resources in his possession. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Immigration Office made changes to the passport application process. This has caused confusion to applicants who have been trying to renew or apply for a new passport. So, the following information is a must-have for you. Know that all forms can be downloaded from the Immigration Office's webpage and printed. If you need additional assistance while trying to navigate through the application process, they have also offered their contact information on their webpage. For the adult applications, the requirements are your birth certificate, evidence that you're a Belizean citizen, such an identity documents with your photo and signature. Applicants will need a recommender. Recommenders must be Belizean born and must have a valid passport. Applicants can be 16 years and older to apply for their passport. The child application requires that children are 16 years and younger. Parents must have the child's birth certificate, evidence that the child is a Belizean citizen, documents that prove any change of name, any court orders required to establish who has parental responsibility for the child, a valid photo identification of the parent or guardian applying on behalf of the child, and a recommender with the same requirements as for adults. Passport fees are $200 for 10-year validity, adults, and $150 for 5-year validity, children. Expedited services are $300, medical emergency passports are $100, and lost passport fees are $200. After these proceedings, applicants may pay for their passports and the office will tell them when it's ready. Applicants should pay at any immigration office. Some offices may require applicants to book appointment. If it is required, the applicant will be notified. Backpacks, uniforms, shoes, and school supplies are only some of the investment parents take on every year to make sure that their child is ready for a new school year. The cost, undoubtedly, it is expensive in 2023. Thankfully, fundraisers are held yearly to alleviate parents from that expense. In the case of Orange Walk, Fiesta Rama was celebrated on the first weekend of July 2023. The signature event is planned and executed by the Orange Walk Town Council, and every year the council chooses a project that would benefit the community. This year, it placed a goal to raise enough funding for the back-to-school program, where 300 lucky students will receive a backpack with utensils.
Overall, we did great. I consider it great. It was a goal we wanted to achieve for 400 bags. I think overall the total amount of money after expenses were paid off, police officers, duty people working and all that stuff, we came up with $24,000. That is gonna a significant amount of money to give us at least the amount of bags that we wanted. So again, I can say I want to first of all thank the residents of Orange Walk and overall who came and witnessed the Fiesta Rama. Apart from the little delays of the little rain, I was out there, you was out there, and people still enjoyed themselves. I know the business community made some money, the hotels made some money. People had something to do, and the younger people enjoyed these international artists that we brought on board. So again, it apart from not making what we wanted to do, I think the residents had fun, and it was a win-win for everybody in Orange Walk.
While you may not be in office next term, which would be next year for Fiesta Rama, what would you have done differently so that it can become even more successful?
Well, again, there is a lot of stuff. Apart from I think the timing and the weather, the weather played a key factor because it dampened the Sunday. The Saturday was okay. A huge rain came on Saturday, but apart from that, I'm not here to complain about the rain. If the rain has to come, we're missing rain for quite a while. So just the timing, maybe we could probably change the date. But I think it was a success. I think it was a great success, regardless of what happened on the grounds. I think we achieved our goal by $24,000 is a good significant amount of money that we will be doing what we said we were going to be doing, getting those school back for the kids.
Coming up next, another street rehabilitated in Orange Walk. The mayor talks to us about the immediate plans for the council. Stay tuned.
Me encuentro recluida porque fui acusada de inhumación, exhumación de cadáveres, profanación de cadáveres y homicidio de 13 personas.
Ellos decían que era santería, nosotros decíamos que era satanería.
Yo nunca me imaginé que a mí me iban a aventar todo lo de Adolfo.
Quien jefaturaba y quien ordenaba y quien tenía el poder y el peso de decisión, pues era Sara.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see and touch.
Humans and dinosaurs can't coexist. We created an ecological disaster.
Ellie Sattler.
Alan Grant.
You didn't come out all this way just to catch up now, did you?
You coming or what?
That's another plane, right?
Not exactly.
Don't move.
The Belize Electricity Limited has been hit by a cyber attack, and their hackers have leaked confidential transactional company information to the dark web. Late last week, the utility company issued a release informing its customers that in May, it stepped up its cybersecurity measures in response to a cyber attack on its IT network. The release went on to say that on July 13th, BEL received a report indicating that company information was leaked from a website operated by the hackers believed to have launched the attack on their IT network. One online cybersecurity platform called Threatmon has published a Twitter report stating that a ransomware group called Ragnar Locker has added Belize Electricity Limited to its list of victims. The report says that after giving Belize Electricity Limited management a deadline to respond to ransomware, 355 gigabytes of data were shared online. Today, the company hosted a virtual press conference to provide further information on the cyber attack suffered by the company during the period of March to May 2023. CEO of BEL, John Mencias, outlined some of the data that was leaked to the dark web, including over 10,000 customers' name and information.
There was customer information on customer application forms. Actually, there was about 10,800 individual customer application forms, which contain identification information, SSB card information, and then some transaction details, but no credit card number nor bank account number or anything like that. But definitely, as I said, SSB card information, so personal details, information on BL salary structure, payroll info, and then other things, conflict of interest disclosures, property tax invoices, appraisals, accident reports. They were actually password files that are password protected. Bear in mind, all our passwords were changed, actually double changed from earlier on. Accident reports, legal case submission. So I think they went after certain data, data that maybe they felt they could embarrass us with. I don't know. You don't know what's the mindset and mentality of these hackers. What we do know that all the information investigated, as I said, we downloaded and have gone through it, are dated April 2023 or earlier. So it seems that when we took action, we were able to prevent them from going any further. And we got them out of the system. But again, these are sophisticated people. This is what they do for a living. You can never be sure, right? You can't sleep on this at all. But before I go any further, we, BL, and I, as a CEO, would like to personally and sincerely apologize to all our customers and our employees and all other stakeholders affected by this data breach and any adverse outcomes that may arise as a result of it. We will be reaching out. In fact, we have already reached out to our employees. Well, we're reaching out, and we will reach out to every individual employee and customer and stakeholder whose data was exfiltrated and uploaded onto this dark web.
Aside from customer and employee information, Mencia says the information leaked is in no way harmful to BEL, which prides itself in being transparent with its business.
One of the main things that they would have gotten, because let me say at this point, we shared all the information, as we have shared with you with employees. We haven't gotten into the details as yet, but we are a transparent company. There's actually nothing that they shared there that we are afraid would have been leaked or is leaked. But employee personal information, customer personal information, people's information, that is the concern we have. And for that, as I said, we sincerely apologize. But if they think in any way that they shared information that would embarrass us, and we're not a perfect company, but we're transparent. There's nothing we are afraid to reveal and to show to the public and our customers.
Since then, Mencia says the company has invested close to $500,000.
Like any modern utility, BL relies heavily on networked computer systems to support our administrative and operational work programs and to automate, monitor, and control certain elements of the electricity grid. Right? So computer applications, software, and hardware that support the administrative side of our work, which includes customer services, billing, HR, accounting. These comprise the information technology or IT system. And computer applications, software, and hardware that support the monitoring and controlling of the electricity grid itself comprise the operational technology or OT part of the system. Following best practices by top utilities the world over, BL employs state-of-the-art, industry-leading firewall network segmentation between its OT and IT systems. In other words, it is extremely difficult to go from one to the other, even if you are a very sophisticated hacker. While the suite of IT and OT systems confer significant connectivity benefits and efficiency gains for BL, they also present points of entry for malicious actors to attack the company, either to leak out confidential data, as has happened outside the company, or even hold its systems ransom. Just for some background, some further background, in 2020, BL commissioned an IT, OT, now that you know what they are, penetration tests, the objective of which was to assess the vulnerability of critical elements of BL's computing infrastructure to cyber attacks. Okay, so basically the company that was involved actually tried to simulate these attacks, actually tried to see how they could get into BL's internal systems. The undertaking was led by a cybersecurity firm by the name of Securementem. And as I said, it included the simulation of attacks, and it resulted in several recommendations to improve the company's cybersecurity framework. 95% of these recommendations were implemented and actually proved helpful in minimizing the impacts of the 2023 security breach. Actually, subsequent to this pen test, the same company was engaged to conduct separate, what we call incident of compromise exercises, which again, you go even further and to find out if they could detect any cases where, our systems were compromised. And in both cases, which was even up to the first quarter, the 2023, none of these incidents of compromise were detected. And thus there was reasonable assurance that whatever gaps that had been identified in the pen tests, right, we had managed to close these gaps. And definitely these gaps were, because we closed them, these were not gaps through which the hackers could attack BL system between March and May.
Simultaneously, as the company contends with the cyber threats, earlier this week, Belize Water Services also announced a break in its partnership as a collection agent for BL. This, according to Mencias, has placed an additional hurdle for the company at this time.
We also, sorry, it's not in the meantime, unfortunately, right at this time, we had a couple of our hard disks on our server that were damaged, and these affected provision of services to customers, especially, and even internally over the week, nothing to do with the cyber attacks. So that's unfortunate that happened, but we are sorting through that, and we should be past that over the next few days. And so you will see that tomorrow, because we are unable to provide services online at the moment, and unfortunately to BWS suddenly terminated the joint partnership we had with them. They had indicated from before, I think a month ago, Don would probably know, when that they would want the partnership to come to an end in August, but we were suddenly informed yesterday that it had come to an end, and they have been one of our major cash collection agents. So we're taking action to get other collection agents, but we actually have at our corporate headquarters now, we are using both our cashiering service inside and outside under the tent. I think about 5 cashiers, but we're doing something that we've never done before in many years. We're opening our offices for collections. I make the point, this is a temporary measure until we are able to get past this. We're convinced that online is more efficient, is where the world is going, and we will continue to proceed and progress in that direction. But in the meantime, these circumstances, that these are unexpected, and one of our values is to act, adapt, and innovate, as we did for COVID, as we did for Hurricane Lisa, and it's no different now. We will stand our ground, and we're standing our ground. We're united as BL. We have faced difficult times before. This is a difficult time for us. Our people, our employees, our stakeholders, our board, they are all on board. And we will continue to achieve our mission.
We will have more on today's virtual press conference in Wednesday's newscast. If you drive around Orange Walk Town, you will find out that many streets are being paved and brought up to standard with international rules. It is part of a promise that the existing Town Council of Orange Walk campaigned on. The council is presently in its last year of office before the next municipal election takes place, and wants to make sure that it keeps up with its municipal growth plan for their first term in office. This morning, we caught up with Mayor Ladrick Shepard, who told us what are the most immediate plans in relation to the paving of streets in town.
As you know, that the Orange Walk Town Council is always in making sure that we uplift and repair most of these streets. As you know, that many has been done in the lower part of Louisiana, in the central part, and also we'll be doing some in the north as well too. We're just working on that. For now, we'll be concentrating on a little bit more in the central part of the town, and we are here at Market Lane. This street is called Market Lane, where I think for a while now, some of the people has been asking for a little upliftment, and we'll be hat mixing this. Hat mixing, if people don't know about hat mixing, quite expensive, but I think that in this center of the town, which is called a business hub, deserve to be uplifted, just like what we did just in front of the Lama Colada School. It is the same thing going to happen. This is just the first phase. After that, we'll be taking on Main Street as well too, and then we'll be doing Baker Street. And then Hospital Crescent. So it's a whole upliftment. And you know for a fact that the school is out, and this is at the best time for us to be doing some of these work. And then we're also thinking about what is going to happen in the September celebration. You know, we pass around this area, so that's another upliftment. So when people come to Orange Walk, they can see the new upliftment of some of these main street here in the town.
Is this going to be paid out?
According to the first-time mayor, the work is being done in collaboration with the Ministry of Infrastructure and area representatives.
Prime Minister, as you know, this is also his constituency, but it's a combination of the town council, because for some of these streets, for the start of these streets, the council has to invest at least $60,000 out of the town council fundings, and then from there is where the Prime Minister does his part by putting in his incentive. As you guys know, he has always been doing that because he's not too much around, but we make sure that we look out and we take care of some of the work here in Central for the Prime Minister. Elmer, that my goal is to achieve and do all the streets. That is a huge goal, highly impossible, people might say, because this is just my first term and I'm running right into election. You know, it's about 7 to 8 more months for us then finally we go for election. But I'm quite sure, again, it's like I said, when you find ways to work with other people, because you cannot do everything by yourself. I'm happy that the residents of Orange Walk are paying their property tax. I'm happy that we work partnership with the Prime Minister as well. I work also with Kevin and with Manchester Cervantes in the East. Is when you come combine all these work together is when you can do more. I just got a number. There is more streets left in Central. If we calculate how many long streets left, it's about 35 more streets in Central. Might be a little more in East. That's a lot. And in North, didn't get the right figures. But again, I'm not worrying about how many streets left. It's how many I can do by the time my first 3 years is up, and what I can do prior to after I'm re-elected sometime in 2024.
More relief for streets around Orange Walk Town is coming up in the next few months. The Corozal District Liquor Licensing Board is meeting all liquor license holders and interested applicants to a quarterly meeting of the board. It is scheduled to be held tomorrow, Wednesday, July 19, 2023, at the Andres Campus Civic Center in Corozal Town. For those license holders and interested applicants from the rural areas, you are invited to the meeting between the hours of 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. License holders and interested applicants from the urban area of Corozal are invited to a meeting between the hours of 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. The meeting is being held in order for the board to discuss important matters involving the process of application and renewal of liquor license. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Wednesday, July 19th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/CTV3BelizeNews or our YouTube channel at CTV3 News VZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.